I think the biggest thing is just knowing how our body works. And then you won't see food as such an enemy. Like knowing that, yeah, you ate the Rice Krispie. Maybe it wasn't on your plan, but how can we use that? How can that become fuel instead of looking at it as like, oh my gosh, I ate this. This is the end of the world. And then it sends you into this like binge and restrict cycle. So changing your mindset first and foremost, like you said, kind of moving past it, because after that point of eating it, what can you do? You made the choice. What can you do now? Either you continue on this cycle and you continue to eat like that, and then those consequences over time add up into something bigger, which can be weight gain or whatever it may be, or you eat the one thing, which whatever it is, X amount of calories, and you move on with your day. Just like we can't lose 5 to 10 pounds in a day, we can't gain 5 to 10 pounds from just eating one thing. So getting over that, kind of getting into that mindset of like, okay, I messed up, let's just move on and stop punishing yourself for that one thing, which really isn't doing that much harm. You're going to do more harm mentally to yourself by beating yourself over that one food than you are just saying, all right, I did it, let's go.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and I've had this mindset for a long time, and I've always thought like what I do is I find ways to like trick myself. In other words, like if there's something that I like to eat, whatever it is, right now for whatever reason, well, I know why, but for whatever recently, I've been craving more sugar recently, and so now what I do is I basically reward myself when I have a heavy workout day. And so now what I do is I basically reward myself when I have a heavy workout day. So in other words, like let's say, because I do jujitsu, my 2 days out of the week is like really heavy. So what I do is I go, okay, well, I don't try not to eat anything. And then on those days, like right after I'm done training, I'm like, yo, what could I eat? I don't know what it is, but sugar is definitely coming into my body. And then when I have it, there's like this immense satisfaction, both physically and psychologically. And so it's like I feel like I get this big punch of like euphoria of fulfillment. It's not just like a dose of like, oh, that tastes good or oh, that feels good. It's more like this dose of fulfillment, like, wow, I really satisfied not only my physical self, but I also satisfied my psychological self. Yeah. And it's almost like I'm giving myself a treat. I'm doing Pavlov on myself.
And I'd love to talk about that a little bit more, because there is something that happens inside when you eat that. So carbs, glycogen are our muscles' main source of fuel. So after a workout, you have depleted all those glycogen stores. And even if your muscles are bodybuilder size, those stores are still fairly small. So if you've depleted those, especially after something strenuous like jujitsu, I can guarantee those stores are depleted. Your muscles.
I think it's something like, if I remember correctly, I think it's like 30 or 40 grams of glycogen, which is nothing. So
exactly.
That's like a half of not even a half, like a quarter of a candy bar.
Or like a cup of measured cooked rice. It's a very small serving. And so after a hard workout like that, not only mentally do you want to treat, but physically your muscles are wanting that. Protein's important for our muscles to be able to grow, but if we don't give our body carbs as well, we're not refueling those glycogen stores. So not only are you doing something good for your mental, but you're doing something good for your physical as well by having those carbs. And I'm not going to go and say have a candy bar after every workout, but
it seems to be the consensus with a lot of like the jiu-jitsu athletes is they all train on an empty stomach. So we don't eat until after our first like heavy session.
Would make sense.
And then right before we have our heavy session, we have some type of sugar, either like a little bit of Gatorade or, like I said, I do honey, or I'll do like a gummy bear or something like that. Then I'll train, and then I'll repeat the sugar gummy bear thing. And then like 45 minutes after that, that's when I actually have my meal.
So that is perfect. Like absolutely perfect. I don't know if you know what you're doing to your blood sugar by doing that, but that's exactly what I would recommend to any athlete, because those are going to be fast carbs, especially things like gummy bears, gummies, Gatorade. That's dextrose, the most broken down form of sugar. So it's going to go straight into the muscles. And so what I call those to my clients are naked carbs. And I don't like my clients eating naked carbs when they're just chilling out, relaxing, because our glycogen stores are full. We don't need that. When you spike your blood sugar, your insulin levels go up. And if your glycogen stores are already full because we're just sitting here having a conversation and I'm over here eating gummies, there's nowhere for my body to store that insulin, so it gets stored as fat. But before your workout, you're eating naked carbs, you spike that blood sugar up, immediately you start working out, your muscles take that in, and then, like you said, after you repeat the cycle, you refill those glycogen stores, and then you have your full meal, which is exactly what I would recommend.